Morning traders, and this is your JSE South African Top 40 day trading setup for today. Now, the Aussie, GT24, which is the broker I'm using at the moment, is really starting to annoy me on this chart. So you can see all these tails here, and if you looked at that from a price action perspective, you'd be saying, jeepers, buyers are really scaling in off this level, and it's such a significant level, which is 49,473. But the reality is you'd be wrong. Okay, so let me just get down to a lower time frame so I'll show you. You see these flipping gap down rally candles which happen on like a 1 minute chart. So you can't even, and I've tried entering levels, I've tried putting stop or limit orders in here to see if I can pick up, and score a bit of cash, but that it doesn't even trigger anything. So clearly it's incorrect. It's not data that I want to trust anyway. So what I want to do is I want to put that in there and put our close in. Okay. So between those two red lines is pretty much where the body is. Okay. So you can see what we ended up with was an inside bar on a green bar. Okay, but still the bigger picture is big down, big down, big up, small down. So a lot of indecision. Now, what we could say is engulfing. Ignore the tails for now, okay? So we've got an engulfing body and an inside bar. That is consolidating. Okay, we've got some diversions on the oscillator here. We don't really have diversions here. We do have a grouping of the stochastics. Okay, so there's a lot of signals here that we should be looking for a move to the upside. We are at a level, although we've been backwards and forth with the level, so I don't trust it right just yet. Normally when that happens, I immediately start dropping to the next level, which would be around these two inside tails here, which is pretty much where the current tails are. So it's 49,410. Okay, but let's just have a look at the 4 hour here, because you'll see all these big green bars here are pointless. Just ignore them completely. Okay, and what you'll see is a series of higher lows. Okay, we've got higher lows. We are still using the moving average here, so technically we are still in a downward trend. Okay, then the next thing that is concerning me here is that we've got a crossover, and this which one is this? This is the fast moving stochastic, which is just lying flat at the bottom here, but we've got another crossover here. So this setup here on the 4 hour doesn't look very convincing. Okay, and convincing for a move to the upside. It looks fairly convincing for a move to the downside. Now, if we just start moving to the levels that we can actually trade, which obviously would be the half hour, and you can see, the whole of Friday was pretty much a nothing day. Okay, so we're kind of sitting inside the moving, or just above the moving averages. Moving averages have crossed over. This bar here is not going to give us the picture we want to see, but you can see Friday we moved down and we consolidated. Buyers at the bottom, sellers sitting at the top. You can see that by the tails. If I now move to the 30-minute and we basically pick up our closing range, which will be these two bars, not this one, these two here. Our closing range is a very small 130 point range, so not something that I really want to play or pay attention to today. We do have the oscillators starting to group the upside. We've got not really diversions, but no diversions, nothing. Okay, so basically the way I'm looking at this at the moment, and forgive me if but I'm stuttering a bit with these bars here because I've got to try keep telling my brain to ignore them. The way I'm looking at this now is that fractal level there is fairly important, as is this one here. Okay, now if I get it at the hour, yep, they're on the hour as well. So that range of Friday is what I'm looking for a breakout. So it's either 54.35 to the upside, or alternatively 50.073 to the downside. Okay, now if I look at what's going on the international markets at the moment, China is down sort of 0.5% at the moment, but more importantly, Tencent is down 2.5%. Okay, and that is pretty much going to enforce a gap down. Rand dollar is slightly stronger, or weaker, should I say. It's 14.42. So that bodes for a move to the upside, but 10-cent bodes for a move to the downside. And if I look at what's happening on the Dow and the Dax at the moment, pretty much confusion there on Friday, and I suspect that confusion to continue today. So expect the same on this market. Okay, so these are the two fractal levels I'd be looking at, and I would go as far as going down to the 12 minutes here, because it's going to give me an earlier entry to the downside. So my entry to the upside is 54.35, and I'm reluctant to take that breakout because I have a 200 moving average right here. Okay, and now you can see on the 12-minute how significant the 12-minute is. Look at the 200 moving average here, 12-minute 200 moving average. Look at the buyers coming in off this level. Okay, and remember, this is the simple moving average. That's the EMA, exponential moving average. Right, so back to levels, 54.35, and I'm reluctant to take that long. I'm more inclined to take the short here, and that level is 51.87. Okay, and then if I can just zoom out a bit here, we do have strong moves to the downside, and then we've created a series of lower highs, then we've got a higher low. Okay, and now with a series of lower highs. Okay, you can see them all coming down here, and then we created a higher high, but then we sort of created a lower high. Well, it hasn't been created yet. We obviously need to break below that. But if you look at how I've drawn those levels, this range bar here is pretty much the range bar we're looking at. I'm a little bit reluctant to take the long. I want to be long lower down, and for me, I think we can have a short, and it's going to move down to come and test pretty much these areas here. And if you look at that bigger picture now, you can see this is potentially quite a big consolidation area. Okay, so in other words, total confusion, still reigning as the last pretty much 3 days. Okay, and I suspect a move to the downside to come and test these levels. I don't understand why though, because we do have, there's a lot of congestion here, so I suspect we're going to stay in this area at least for today. Okay, and even if we do start moving to the downside, there are so many levels that are going to be picked up. Look, every single fractal here on the 4-hour is pretty much an opportunity for the buyers to step in. Okay, so be careful. I suspect we're going to get a short. We are still in a downtrend, so technically we are in a downtrend. So you should be trading the downside, regardless of anything. So any rally, you should be trading the downside. It's only until we get above this fractal level here, 58.20, that you can have some proper confidence that the trend has changed. And even then, I'd be a little bit skeptical because of the position of the 200 moving averages on the 4 hour. Okay, so my conclusion for this morning, looking at all three markets that I normally trade, is expect a typical Monday, and I'm sort of inclined to believe I should just keep my money in my pocket because there's no clear-cut direction at the moment, and I do suspect buyers are going to step in. If we do break the downside, we will get buyers stepping in somewhere down the bottom here, and you can pick multiple levels at this stage because there's no clear-cut level that we need to pay attention to. Okay, and the other thing is that you do have this trend line. So, we could gap down, sort of consolidate along this area here, and then rally to the top and continue forming this flat top triangle. That's also a possibility. Or alternatively, we could just gap down, come to the bottom here, and form a much bigger range for ourselves. So, in other words, it's 50-50 either way. It's not something that I'm really keen to trade. What I may do is, depending how I feel, is watch the 6 and 5 minute charts, or the one of the two 6 or 5 minute charts at the open, and see what happens. What you could also do is watch that first half hour of trading, because that will be your daily range or your opening range, and that may be worthwhile trading as well. But if it's like 100 points similar to the closing range, it's not even worth it, in my opinion anyway. Okay, so probably find myself just keeping the money in my pocket until we get some political noise or some news or something that's going to drive the direction of this market. At this stage, I think we're in limbo for a bit longer. Okay, anyway guys, that's it for me. Hope probably doesn't help you much, but rather safe than sorry. If there's no clear direction, keep your money in the pocket. Anyway, enjoy the day, and if you are trading, keep those stops really, really tight. And catch up with you guys later. Cheers for now.